Super League coverage of Arsenal against Tottenham. Now, for the Gunners, tonight is all about keeping their title hopes alive. They have just 2 games left until the end of the season, but if they lose tonight, Chelsea will be crowned the WSL champions before they've even kicked a ball. It's going to be a nervy North London derby.
Red and white meets white and blue. Corners taken. Of course, there is no quarter given in the North London derby.
Driven in is a fabulous one!
And the K-ball, wow!
Towards Miedemar!
Danger! Outstanding! What a start to this North London derby for the Gunners.
Tottenham are in front! How about that? Oh, that's outrageous!
It's been a dream North London derby. There is no place to hide, is there?
Wonderful save!
Oh, brilliant! What a fine goal!
Expect passion, marvellous Miedemar does it yet again for Arsenal. And it's North London bragging rights to be fought over here.
Vivianne Miedemar with a statue outside the Emirates today. She scored 2 of Arsenal's 7 goals against Aston Villa on Sunday. A win tonight would leave them just a point behind Chelsea and take the title race to the final day of the season. Spurs will have a big say on where the title ends up, though. They narrowly lost to Chelsea last week and earlier in the season held the Gunners to a draw. It's been a changeable day of weather here in North London. Some 12,500 fans are expected here at the Emirates Stadium, the largest attendance for an Arsenal women's game this season. It is Arsenal against Tottenham in the Barclays Women's Super League. Kickoff here at the Emirates Stadium is in just over 10 minutes' time. It is a huge game which warrants an equally huge lineup. I'm delighted to say I've got England's most capped player of all time, Farrah Williams, Aston Villa defender and Arsenal legend Anita Asante, and former Liverpool and Leeds defender Stephen Warnock. I almost said Spurs there. That doesn't go down well, does it?
Not at all.
And I don't remember you from Spurs. Look, tonight it is all about Spurs, who are here visiting Arsenal. And for the Gunners, look, the equation is so simple, Farrah. Defeat is just not an option. And for the neutral, if we could take this title race to the final day of the season, that's what everyone wants.
Yeah, look, the neutral definitely wants the game to go to the final day of the season next weekend. But look, Arsenal have to win here today to keep the pressure on this Chelsea team, which is obviously going to be difficult because I can't see Chelsea dropping points now until the end of the season in their final game. So it'll be difficult, but they have to keep the pressure on this Chelsea team.
I think the big thing is put it back in the hands of Chelsea, isn't it? That's the only thing that you can do as an Arsenal player in that changing room. You know you've got to play on the front foot. You know you've got to go out and win the game. Be ambitious tonight that you can do that, and then hope for a little bit of luck on that final game of the season.
Yeah, and because you never know what's going to happen in that final game, nerves could come into play. I mean, Anita, you were here during Arsenal's heyday. You won the quadruple with them, and there was a time when they were the dominant force in women's football. The landscape has changed in recent years. Other teams have played catch-up, but for Arsenal, winning a title like this, which would be their first since 2019, it's crucial, isn't it, to be back up there in the big time?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the ambition of the club and the players, and you can tell from the way they started the season that they were flying and wanting to get back to that level and bring a trophy home. So it's really important that they show that today by getting a solid performance.
Yeah, and it's certainly something that Jonas Eidevall has been speaking about. He is the Arsenal boss. We're going to hear from both the managers now, starting with Jonas. He's been speaking to Jane Dougal.
Jonas, so much is on the line tonight. A win or the title is lost. How important a match is this? Can you try to put it into words?
It's of course a really important match, but so it has been almost since the beginning of the season. So for us, we always go out with the pressure and play to win, and so we will do today as well.
Playing at the Emirates, are you expecting an intimidating atmosphere?
I just think we love playing in big stadiums, and so obviously, you know, you want an atmosphere, and I'm not sure that it's necessarily intimidating. It's just great to have the fans in and lots of people and lots of noise, and just makes it more of a, you know, real fans affair.
Well, Tottenham and Arsenal will have to contend with the attacking threats of the likes of Beth Mead, Katie McCabe as well. They reached over 150 appearances for the club in the last week or so. Jordan Nobbs and Kim Little as well, reaching over 250,000. I mean, these are huge players for this club as well. They'll certainly be looking to perform tonight, of course. This was where they were honoured by the Arsenal chief executive, Vinay Venkatesh, just a short while ago on the Arsenal pitch. Beth and Kirsty there, and Kim Little as well. Yeah, beautiful moment for two very, very big players for this club. Farah, you know them incredibly well. It's just a shame that Jordan, of course, went off injured on Sunday, and she'll be playing no part in these final games of the season, which will be so painful for her.
Yeah, really painful, really gutting. Not just for Jordan, but for the, the England fans out there with the home Euros coming up. I mean, we haven't heard of the injury yet, but hopefully, it gives herself a chance. I know she's been ruled out until the end of the season, but hopefully she has a chance of making that Euro squad. But yeah, really disappointing. Yeah,
it is anyway. Well, we do have Katie McCabe, we do have Beth Mead on the pitch, and we have Vivianne Miedemar as well. What a trio they are. And they're really good friends off the pitch as well. Earlier in the week, they caught up with Shaban Ahern for a bit of a coffee and a catch-up. This one's really good. Have a listen.
And it's a chance for Miedemar, Katie McCabe, and here's Mead, and it is goal number 3.
The three of you have had a very, very strong season so far. Viv, how aware of these records are you? The highest scoring player in the WSL ever.
I can answer that. Not very aware.
Really?
Nah, I just don't
You're
really
quite
care.
humble about it, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I hear things and the girls keep me up to date, but it's not really why I play football.
And now you two are going to be going up against each other for the Euros. At the moment, your teammates are off the pitch. But how does that change come July?
I like playing against the girls, like playing with the girls. I mean, if we win, then she'll hear it for the next 2 or 3 years.
They always turn up for tournaments, to be fair. I don't think we've played each other yet, have we?
No, we did semi-finals.
I wasn't there. I wasn't in the squad then.
Well, you've been learning some Dutch.
I know some.
Go on.
Come on.
Wat doe jij? Wat doe jij is like, what you doing? So she says, Kate, what do I? Like, what are you doing? If I don't pass the ball.
I never shout at you.
Yeah, she does.
Katie, I think you have a record of your own. We'll speak to you about it in a second.
Will do.
I don't want to know what this is.
Yellow cards.
Yeah, most yellows has to be Katie McCabe.
I'm actually on a 4-game run now where I've not been booked, and
Is that a record?
Yeah, probably.
Well done, Katie.
Miedemar! It's the 337th goal of her club career.
I score ugly goals.
Ugly goals?
Yeah, so I just always hit low and in the corners. I never try and go for top bins and show off.
A huge season as well for your new manager, Jonas Edevel. How does he get in the run-up to games like this?
That intensity he brings to our trainings, and he brings that into the games, and I think it helps us. It kind of gives us energy going forward.
He's developed your game as well, Viv, of more recently. How did that come around?
Basically just Tina coming in, I think. Obviously she's a good number 9, and I mean, I've always said I'm not a 9, so I was really happy to just drop back into the 10, and I've been really enjoying it, to be fair. Probably been the best weeks at Arsenal so far.
Getting to see you play at the Emirates is such a buzz for fans, but what's it like as a player?
The first game of the season, you'd think the stadium was full. The atmosphere was so good, the fans were amazing, they were so loud, and they probably give us that little bit of energy to keep going.
Just in case you're wondering, those cowhide tops there, worn by the Arsenal team, are Arsenal's outerwear designed by Stella McCartney, of course. Farah Williams, look, it's really interesting to hear Vivianne Miedemar talk about how happy she is at Arsenal. This is someone who is reportedly receiving interest from the likes of PSG, from the likes of Barcelona as well. For a player of her calibre, Arsenal matching her ambitions right now?
Look, I think she's definitely happy here at Arsenal, and you can see that in her performances. Look, she's an ambitious player, and I know the club Arsenal are ambitious. They've been ambitious for years, but are they quite at the levels that Miedema's at the moment? I don't think so. And if she's wanting to go on and win trophies, I think she has to make a move at the end of the season.
Interesting. Well, someone who won't be making a move, we're sure, is Leah Williamson. She's captain for club and country. She's such a huge influence, Stephen, on and off the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, you can see a real leader. Hugely impressed. First and foremost, outstanding defender. Covers well, understands, reads the game exceptionally well. But she starts attacks from the back, and her distribution, her ability to pick out passes into the forward players quickly, to bypass the midfield, switch of plays, absolutely brilliant. It just advances the team up the pitch, and when she was out, she had the hamstring injury, I think it was, wasn't it? And the team suffered without her because she just drives them up the pitch and picks out passes that starts those attacks and just misses out midfield players. Very difficult to defend against.
Yeah, she really is. And speaking of who Arsenal will be defending against, we're looking at the likes of Rachel Williams, aren't we? She scored 6 goals in 14 WSL appearances against Arsenal. They'll have their eyes on her, won't they?
Well, clearly Rachel likes scoring goals against Arsenal. Having played against her, I know she's a fierce contender, will run through brick walls for her team, but her movement is so clever and her timing into the box, and I just like how positive she is. She, doesn't hesitate in and around the box, will take the shot on, but she also allows her teammates to catch up and join the attacks and create overloads in the attacking third, and that's going to be incredibly important for them today as well.
And looking at the way that Tottenham play, I mean, look, the teams are heading out shortly, Stephen. Tottenham are a very tough proposition in terms of how they defend, aren't they? For Arsenal, it's no walk in the park to them.
No, you're going to have to be patient when you're playing against Tottenham because they're solid, they're very well organised, very difficult to break down. But I think that's the key word tonight, is patience for Arsenal. Ideally, they want to get an early goal, but they know it'll be a tough game for them.
Yeah, indeed. And there really is only one option, as we've been saying all morning, that they have to win to keep the pressure on Chelsea and take it to the final day of the season. A draw would possibly do, but they will be looking at nothing less than 3 points. There is such an expectant crowd here at the Emirates Stadium. It's a fantastic evening as well. The rain has cleared, and we're about to get over to that first half. So with that, it's time to hand you over to your commentary team today, the former England and Everton goalkeeper Rachel Brown-Finnis. But first, Robin Cowan.
Thank you very much, Reshmin. Good evening, everyone. So tonight could be the night the WSL title is decided. Defeat for Arsenal, the trophy will be heading to Chelsea for the 3rd time in a row, and the other results, and we go to the final day. Spurs massive underdogs, but a North London derby under the lights at the Emirates might just inspire them to pull off an upset. Here are your teams then. Arsenal make 2 changes from the 7-0 win against Aston Villa on Sunday. Manuela Zinsberger returns in goal for Williams. Stina Blackstenius starts after scoring from the bench last time out. And Katie McCabe drops to the bench. Mana Iwabuchi is fit enough to be named among the subs. 4 changes for Spurs from the draw with Everton. Tina Riker-Korpela is in goal for Becky Spencer. Josie Green starts for the first time since January. Jessica Naz and Kaya Simon come in. Ale, Tang and Sumanen all drop to the bench. So a high-pressure game for Arsenal, who really have to win if they're to have any chance of stealing the title off Chelsea. And a couple of key players missing for Arsenal. Jordan Nobbs, we're still waiting for news of how serious the injury she suffered at Boreham Wood will be. Rachel Brown-Finnis, you picked out a couple of potentially key players.
For Arsenal, if they're going to continue this winning streak and their wish to and desire to get Arsenal back to those former glory days and push Chelsea all the way, it's Beth Mead. She's in key form. She broke the record recently, this last weekend actually, for chances created across WSL. I think she's up to 64 chances created. The way that she's synchronised movement and movement down the right-hand side, she can cut in on the left and cross it in, she can score. And goalkeeper Tina Korpela is back in goal for Spurs. Becky Spence played against Everton, but against the top teams, Rihanna Skinner prefers Korpela. They're not going to be playing out the back, they're going to be playing long, and Korpela is a shot stopper.
So 2 teams take the knee ahead of kick-off here. Healthy crowd for a midweek. Disappointment that it wasn't played on the Sunday a couple of months ago. It was postponed because of COVID outbreak in the Tottenham camp. But high tension at the Emirates as Arsenal look to take the title race to the final day of the season. Spurs without a win in the WSL in 6 games, but they've played well against good teams, especially in recent weeks.
When I watched them against Chelsea and they pushed them right to the wire. They've built, as we mentioned in that game, Robin, they've built on being really difficult to break down. to building and having those attacking threats, not just Rachel Williams, but across that back line. Kaya Simon was instrumental in some of the creativity and the link-up between the forward three. So they've become an exciting team to watch as well.
Here is Naz, former Arsenal youth team player, made 2 WSL appearances for them before moving to Spurs. That's a loose ball from Simon, and Arsenal try and pounce straight away. Here is Blackstenius, Miedemar making her way forward. Instead it's back for Leah Velti.
Jessica Naz just hesitate, could have played the ball early for Spurs and Ayan would have been in. Instead turned over possession cheaply.
Well, one back by Harrop. And the ball has come off the referee, Louise Sanders. So it will be a drop ball for Spurs, who are in possession. Played well against Everton on Sunday, but conceded late, unlike them. I think they might be showing a bit of signs of tiredness because of that COVID outbreak. They had a lot of postponed games. They played midweek twice now, as well as the weekend games. So the season's threatening to peter out a bit for Spurs.
Rianne Skinner asked a lot of the players, the way that they press together, intensity that they play at. Not the hugest squad as far as established first-team senior players, but they've been remarkable this season.
Certainly have. They're guaranteed at least a 6th place finish, which would be their highest in WSL history. And they've already clocked up 9 more points than the entirety of last season. So real signs of progress. Here is Harrop to Ayan. That's good play. Clemeron. Couldn't get past Kim Little. Gets the cross in. Simon scuffs her shot. Here's Naz, forced wide, and into the arms of Zinsberg. A real opportunity there for Spurs.
Fantastic play. Clemeron drifting out with that traditional holding midfield position she plays in. Down the left-hand side, sells Kim Little, does really well to get the ball, but to pick out Kaya Simon, scuffs the shot, lands at the back post of Jessica Naz, and again, maybe takes a touch too many, can't get a shot off quick enough.
Real opportunity there for Spurs, who could become today the only team in the WSL this season who have not lost to Arsenal. 1-1 at the Hive, but here comes Beth Mead. And it's 1-0. Beth Mead continues her hot streak. 6 goals in the last 6 WSL games. A cool, calm finish. And Beth Mead receives the applause. What a season she is having.
It's such a phenomenal passage of play. You can see Leah Williamson, no pressure on the ball. She can pick out a pass. Beth Mead gets on the back shoulder of the midfield, in between the defence and midfield. Nobody puts pressure on her. Zadorsky can't step out, lets her run inside the box, and similar to a couple of goals we saw at the weekend for Miedemar, just runs straight down the throat of the team. No one puts pressure on, they back off, and ultimately it's a free shot goal. Beth Mead's done this so well. Drift off the wide position, come central. She's an extra threat. A 3-pronged attack for Arsenal.
As she did on the first day of the season against Chelsea, Beth Mead scores at the Emirates, becoming a big player for the big stage. A little bit too easy for a player of her quality. Chop onto the left foot, away from Bartrip, and player on her form is never going to miss that one. And just the start that Arsenal wanted. I'm sure, no matter what they say, Chelsea staff and players will be watching.
Of course, and you can see how they've set up Josie Green, holding midfielder alongside Clemeron. He's there he's tasked with picking up Miedemar. He's picking up that player who comes off the front line into those gaps in between. But what Arsenal do so well is just rotate that position.
Catley can't quite keep that in. Ashley Neville, one of the Spurs players of the season, of course. consistent. He's played a number of positions. A free kick for Spurs.
As we've seen or said before, Ashley Neville been through that transition from amateur to professional status. Tottenham, one of the few players to have come up with the team and drop her former career to become a professional footballer, to give it that shot.
Free kick taken quickly, and it was a dangerous ball across from Rosella Ayan. Corner for Spurs.
That's a brilliant ball, wasn't it? Quick thinking from Spurs down that right-hand side. Showed a little bit, was shown a little bit of space by Arsenal. Just switched off, hadn't she? Kim Little down that left-hand side. Oh, textbook ball to that near post. Just couldn't quite get beyond the defender.
It's Beth Mead who made the clearance. Harrop was just behind her, ready to tap in. Well, Zinsberg has come, she hasn't got there, and it's a real scramble. Arsenal try and get it away, and eventually it's out of play. Goodness me, that was unconvincing from Arsenal, to say the least.
I was backing that to end up in the back of the net there. The scramble, the desire that Spurs had. Rachel Williams in there, Ashley Neville in there. You can see they're fighting for it. Kaya Simon, but what a block off Miedemar, I think it is, off the line. Doing a job at the back post. Really, you can see her physically holding the back post so she knows where she is. First and second phase, she comes across. What a goal line save that is from Miedemar.
In the meantime, Arsenal try to progress forward with Blackstenius, but the flag is up. Real mess. We had Mead and Miedemar doing their defensive work and doing it well. Slightly nervy. Couple of moments from Arsenal.
Yeah, and Zinsberger back in ahead of Lydia Williams, who was substituted in at the weekend. Zinsberger was on the bench. Maybe showing, I mean, for me, she's not been the most convincing of goalkeepers, certainly in that area. As far as commanding her area, coming and collecting crosses, something that she can still make improvements on. Going to turn this Arsenal into a championship winning team.
Williamson away from Williams, and a pinpoint pass. Not the first time we've said that this season. Catley on the overlap, defending from Neville.
Again, fantastic ball from Leah Williamson. Still surprises me how teams can allow her the space and the time to be able to spray those balls. Just a few minutes early, she supplied Beth Mead, who spun and ran at goal and scored.
Catley. Miedemar is beaten to it, but she manages to pick up the loose ball. Here's captain Kim Little. Arsenal with excellent form in the WSL, won the last 6 games in the competition and scored at least 3 times during that run. But it may not be enough. Final day, they go to West Ham. Chelsea host Manchester United. We'll see what unfolds there. Still work for Arsenal to do here. Spurs proving, despite conceding, they are a threat, especially from set pieces. Here is Mead. Lovely ball. Blackstenius. Gathered by Korpela.
It was the right ball. Korpela dealt with it ultimately, but there should have been a runner from Arsenal. As that ball's coming down, Blackstenius is running towards the touchline. See it here. Lovely ball through. Really well-worked passage of play. That's the cue. She's looking. Her option is to whip it in near post. Just needed that runner to get across the defender. Really slick football from Arsenal.
Spurs try and play it out. They've got away with it this time. Simon. She's done really well. Under a lot of pressure. Neville forced back to the goalkeeper.
We can see what Arsenal's attitude is tonight. They want to win, and they want to try and win big. Keep the pressure on Chelsea.
Williamson wins the header. Picked up by Clemeron. Spurs led at the Hive in the reverse fixture. It was a last-minute Vivianne Miedemar header which rescued a point for Arsenal. The first points they dropped in the competition. Here is Miedemar. Foul is given against Josie Green, against Bartrip, I should say.
Yeah, really clever play from Miedemar. Either Bartrip as a centre-half or Josie Green as that whole midfield step in and put pressure on Miedemar. They'll have seen that and learnt the lesson from the previous encounter. Just more of a body check, really, but another chance for Arsenal. And here again, they do have options. Kim Little's not even in the picture for a free kick nowadays.
Catley, the left-footed option. It's very far out, you've got to say. But
30 yards, I'd have a putt from there.
Don't think I could reach the goal. So that's deflected away for a corner.
Wall did its job there, very well set up by Corpler, very well organised, 4 in a wall, 5 just off of it to cover the back post. Standard setup but well executed. They're a very well organised and disciplined team, Spurs. They're under pressure now.
It's not a bad delivery, a really good header from Bartrip. Good distance on the clearance. Maritz forced back to Zinsberger. Max Dinius wanted an early ball from Kim Little. It goes short for Mead. And a foul by Josie Green. A free kick for Arsenal.
Yeah, she knew it. She got the ball, but she went through the player. You can't do that. What I want to say is really good pressure from Spurs from that clearance. I think it was Ayan who pressed really high up, didn't allow Leah Williamson to play the ball early.
See the fouls racking up here. Spurs being physical.
Once you see the referee give a couple of those, you know exactly what you're going to do when there's contact into the back of you again. Repeat, you know, because she can't. If you go down and she doesn't give it that time, you say, we gave one 10 seconds ago. And I think they all have been free kicks. I think the referee has called them all correctly. But there's ways of enticing that type of contact. Stand still, you can see the player, you can see the ball, you know the line that the player's going to have to run to. And if that's through you, then you're going to get a free kick in a dangerous position. I'd say Leanne Hall, who's been brought in as the assistant coach this season rather than goalkeeper coach, seems to have a very vocal presence, is very much involved in Jonas Eidevall. To say that they hadn't met prior to this season when he was introduced to Arsenal, she's been really influential.
Again, it's a Catley or Mead free kick. Mead goes for the chip. No one making the run. So far, so good for Arsenal. Have to win. A draw would be okay, but a win does take it to the final day, and they'd be back up to just 1 point behind Chelsea. They also have a slightly better goal difference and goals scored, which could come into it if Manchester United do them a favour on Sunday afternoon. Here is Naz. To Ayan. Miedemar away from Green and tripped by Clemeron. A definite foul. Could this be a booking as well?
It's a clever one from Miedemar. She chops the ball inside. There's nowhere Clemeron can go. She doesn't stick a leg out, she's just physically there. But it is a foul.
No yellow this time. She does that again. And that's what will be produced, but
it's not an uncommon sight though, is it, Clemeron in yellow cards?
No, she has already served a suspension this season for accumulating 5 cards. Given the length of the WSL season, it's quite impressive.
Yeah, pro rata, it's pretty unfair, isn't it?
Yeah. True. She's definitely not just an enforcer, though, is she? Real vision.
Yeah, when she joined from Everton, I thought it was a huge loss for Everton, and she's been really key in how Spurs play and how Rianne's going to use it. She has a very definite role in that, just in front of the back four. And another reason why they are so well drilled and so well organised.
Here's Williamson, striding forward. Plays in Maritz. Here is Wubben-Moy, scored at the Emirates. 1-1 draw against Wolfsburg. That's as good as it got, though, in the Champions League knockout stages for Arsenal.
It's better. Good pressure from Spurs there. Made Leah Williamson turn over the ball.
Green trying to play in Naz, and that was a heavy challenge from Wubben-Moy, but a well-timed one.
Rianne will be happier with this last sort of 5 minutes. It's a bit more organised fight. Kai Simon and Rachel Williams together, putting pressure on the midfield and that back four.
Much larger pitch, larger surroundings than Boreham Wood. See, Arsenal are enjoying it. Mead offside.
Very tight. Zadorsky just about was the deepest player. Beth Mead just beyond her, ever so slightly. Yeah, looks the right decision.
A good crowd for midweek at the Emirates. The WSL record was at the North London Derby, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium a couple of seasons ago. Here come Arsenal again, just wide.
Brilliant block from Ashley Neville there. Got a little touch on it as she came sliding in across. It looked, for all intents and purposes, a free shot at goal from the edge of the box. Marshals are really well. Lovely ball from Miedema again. Feeding Caitlin Ford. Great sliding tackle from Ashley Neville.
The corner for Arsenal. Very crowded in the 6-yard box. Catley. Again, Spurs defend it well in the first instance. Back in by Mead. And the goalkeeper just about grabs it. She's lost it now. Eventually Spurs scramble it away.
Wow, that is brave goalkeeping from Corpola there in the Spurs goal, and she's remonstrating with the referee. I do think it should have been a free kick. Endangering a player. See here, the ball just creeps through and it falls to Caitlin Ford, who lunges, and yes, Corpola doesn't have control of the ball, but that is surely endangering a player. Thankfully, Corpola's okay and can carry on. Some say goalkeepers get a lot too much protection nowadays. I would argue otherwise.
You wouldn't be one of them, yes. Here is Miedema. Spotted Beth Mead. Harrop cuts out the pass. Here's Green. On to Rachel Williams. Wearing a mask today, with a broken nose.
I'm sure they will have had to have bribed her to wear that mask, because she's one tough player. Physicality has been unquestionable throughout her career, her effort and endeavour. Come back from really serious ACL injuries. And a real leader within that Spurs team.
An excellent record against Arsenal, 6 goals in the WSL.
4 headers, I think it is, statistically, for Rach Williams against Arsenal. Saying that Could be threatening on set pieces, and this is the chance again. Caitlin Ford has the right to go for that ball, but with studs up, I think it should have been a free kick to Spurs.
As you said, brave goalkeeping from Korpela. Turns 36 tomorrow.
We played at the 2009 European Championships against each other. So she's a lot of experience. Korpela, another former Everton player, Finnish international goalkeeper.
Also be playing at Euro 2022 as well for Finland. Great career. Free kick once again for Arsenal. Velti this time. Williams unhappy with that decision.
You can see what Rach is saying. Ref, I won the ball, and she did. It's not a foul to be a shoulder check. If we see it again, is it a shoulder check? I would argue it's more of a bit of a shove.
On reflection, it's close.
It was. If she'd have kept her hands down, it probably would have been shoulder to shoulder. But, you know, Rachel Williams, from day one, being at Birmingham and as a youngster, playing in the Olympics, she's had such a glittering career.
Here's Blackstenius in behind. A vital block by Josie Green.
Oh, lovely sliding tackle to get back across. Complemented the one just a few minutes ago by Ashley Neville. You can see the numbers flooding forwards. Blackstenius, Beth Mead, Miedema, Kim Little coming deeper from midfield, all to threaten that back line of Spurs.
Deep delivery, Velti's there, but Neville wins the header. Here's Catley. Mead. Harrop gets her head to it. Maritz, good first touch. Shot is charged down.
Certainly one way to tire out a flagging Tottenham Hotspur team is to keep spreading the play, to switch it from flank, from right to left, and Arsenal are using all of this big Emirates pitch to do that. Wide players on the lines, really stretching out that back line, making them do extra yards.
Blackstenius trying to get away from Simon. This is going to be a free kick. And a yellow card for Kaya Simon, stopping a potential attack.
Yeah, she knew what she was doing there. Cynical foul. No arguments from anyone. After all, this is a North London derby. There's a lot, not necessarily at stake for Spurs, but pride. Absolutely the forefront of every single one of these players' minds, and team talks from either manager.
Little. Out to Mead. Yeah, the rivalry isn't quite as fierce as the men's one just yet, but it will get there. I think the rivalry between the managers of Arsenal and Chelsea in the WSL is starting to heat up. Here's Miedema. Goes for the near post, drags it wide.
I think that flame was lit on the first day of this season right here, actually. In Jonas Eidevall. Is it a knee slide? Am I exaggerating when he did a knee slide? Celebration in the direction of Emma Hayes. Not quite sure that's still digested yet, that Emma Hayes. But what a way to enter his career in the WSL with Arsenal.
Great celebrations. A great start. Naz trying to thread it through towards Williams. Well gathered by Zinsberger.
Yeah, well read by the goalkeeper, the Arsenal goalkeeper. It's a lovely ball. You could see what they're trying to do, but read exceptionally well by Vubben Moy, I think it was, who tracked Rachel Williams.
Lovely flick from Miedemar. Just to go forward quickly towards Blackstenius, picked up by Caitlin Ford. It's interesting to hear in the build-up, Miedemar enjoying her slightly more withdrawn role.
I think Arsenal fans and Arsenal players would enjoy Miedemar more if she was willing to sign a contract before the end of this season. A couple of games left and still hangs in the balance really whether she'll be here next season.
Not short of offers. But a huge miss to this league she would be if she does decide to move on.
This league, if you got inside information, it would be a broad move.
Can you see her going anywhere else in this league? I think the world would explode if she went to Chelsea. Here's Ford. Lovely ball on for Catley. Corner kick. Again, good defending from Neville.
Well, that pause from Catley just as she looked up and let the ball roll on another couple of yards allowed Ashley Neville to get across and make that block. Jonas Eidevall will be desperate for Arsenal to get another goal. Talked about how potentially goal difference could make a difference at the end of this season.
Needs delivery. Ruben Moy. She got there, but she couldn't direct the header towards goal. Picked up by Miedemar. Little. So Williamson had stayed up there. Simon inviting Naz forward. She is quick, but that's asking a lot.
I'd see Arsenal be a bit more inventive off corners. Just from memory, they've had at least 4 corners and they've all set up exactly the same on the 6-yard line, and Tottenham have dealt with each of those corners very, very well. Bartrip heading away, Ashley Neville heading away. All the creativity they have. I think Eidevall and Arsenal should expect more. Spurs need to watch themselves though. They've had one booking, Kaya Simon in midfield, and it's that midfield area that's getting a little bit tetchy. This time Jessica Naz on the back of Catley's heels. A definite foul. Still only the 1 yellow card brandished. I'm feeling it might not be the last.
Lovely touch from Belty away from Naz onto Catley. Last trophy for Arsenal was the WSL title in 2019. Mead dropping deep, finding space, lovely feet. It's Miedemar, just wide.
Lovely movement from Arsenal. You see there, 5 Arsenal players all in a line really. Ends up in an attacking role. It's Beth Mead who checks short. Miedemar goes longer. Beth Mead then gets on the ball, allowed to turn, allowed to feed Miedemar. He just scoffs it a little bit. Hard and wide. But warning signs again from Arsenal.
Couple of flourishes from Spurs, but otherwise haven't really troubled Arsenal. They are creative on set pieces. Tottenham Hotspur, see, they really troubled Chelsea with them, both their games.
Yeah, and in relatively tight games, certainly where you are potentially the underdog like Spurs are today, they can be that cutting edge, that defining moment. A really well rehearsed corner or free kick. Arsenal, if it gets to the end of the match and the game hasn't fallen favourably in their, hasn't fallen in their favour score-wise, maybe opportunities missed. Look how tight it is.
Going ahead on goal difference. Ahead of Spurs, ahead of Chelsea, I should say. Spurs come forward. Ayan. He took a little bit too much time to release the ball. Kim Little back there to nick the ball off her. Good pressing though from Clemeron. Spurs have it back with Simon. Shields the ball well. Green closed down. Now Arsenal can come again. Miedemar can't find Blackstenius. The only option she had.
Yeah, it was, you could see what Miedemar had intended. It was an outside-in Blackstenius run, and Blackstenius just checked it slightly. The path of the ball from Miedemar was perfect if she continued the angle of her run. Arsenal defended really well though on that Spurs attack. Just Ayan could have fed Rach Williams. She was absolutely herring down centre. So the timing of the pass was off. Chance gone.
Zadorsky, who took a eye off the ball. A throw for Arsenal. The referee not happy from where they took it. Unusually you see that the referee urges the team forward to take the throw in.
Rules the rule, I guess.
Williams, really good hold-up play. Spurs can't sustain it. Back in Arsenal possession. Ford closed down quickly by Neville. Ruben Moy. And the ball over the top for Blackstenius. Be a chance here. Deflected, good save by Corpler, who was already down, had to readjust.
Yeah, she watched that really well, because it's hard to, when a ball in a tight area, there's bodies in front of you, shifty movement, near post Corpler there. See your bodies in front of her, he has to react late, does really well.
Here's Mead. Velty shot closed down quickly by Green. It's been a feature of Spurs season. They're not afraid to put their bodies on the line. Really impressive commitment to the cause.
Yeah, that centre-half pairing of Bartrip and Zadorsky, excuse me, has been excellent. As well as the nous and experience of Keris Harrop at left back. More often than not, Ashley Neville at right back. There's a lot of WSL games in that, a lot of international experience as well with Zadorsky. And the spine of the team is really building nicely at Spurs.
Yeah, only the top three have conceded fewer goals in the WSL this season than Spurs.
Yeah, Rhiannon Skinner's done an excellent job since she's been here for 18 months, a season and a half now.
Arsenal win it back in a good position. A flick from Catley. Crowd enjoyed that. There's Williamson. It was never going to be another 7-0 against Spurs, but I think Jon Cederval might be slightly anxious for Arsenal to add a couple more.
Made reference to how tight the game was. Spurs leading 1-0 up until the dying seconds of the game where Miedemar equalised. They know what they're up against, a tough opponent.
Another free kick for Arsenal. Referee, stickler for where it should be taken. Taken quickly, Miedemar nearly got there, well read. Good timing on the challenge as well from Bartrip. Rachel Williams. I think she was trying to lay that off further forward, but it's on for Simon. Clemeron. Harrop dispossessed. Beth Mead, she's got it back. Williams, not too many options. She's absolutely surrounded by red shirts. Brilliant feet to keep the ball from Williams. Simon, now Naz. Good spell this from Spurs. Neville goes for the early cross, but too close to Zinsberger.
Yeah, not enough pace and depth on it, but you're right, a really positive spell of play. One-touch passing, you can see they know where their players are going to be. Those triangles in midfield. The awareness to switch it out wide. Naz to set it back to Neville was the right thing to do. It's just the quality of the cross wasn't quite there to really finish off what would have been a wonderful passage of play from Spurs.
Half-time in the other WSL game, Manchester City 0, Birmingham City 0. Birmingham have to win that one if they're to stay up, though.
They seem to pull out their best performances, don't they, against the top teams. They beat Arsenal 2-0 this season. They really narrowly lost, only a penalty against Chelsea. I mean, they've been... It's unbelievable. If they were to stay up, it'd be unbelievable given a lot of the results or the general results they've had. But against the top teams, they really do seem to... Aaron Webster seems to bring the best out of them.
Also implications in terms of the Champions League places. Manchester City, if they win both of their games tonight and against Reading on the final weekend, they will pit Manchester United to third place. Here's Naz, just runs it out of play.
Bit of naivety from Naz there. If we see the replay, I think there's a little bit of a shove from Leah Williamson as Naz beats her for pace down that left. She could have gone down just there. She was off balance and then her touch was heavy. But good defending.
Ford wanted the early ball, still pointing for it. Cut out by Ashley Neville. Another really good intervention from the Chelsea right back, the Spurs right back, I should say. It's a lot to be decided, potentially. Could be everything to be decided on the final day. And we will have you covered. We start at 11:45 on Sunday on BBC Two. Big games at the top and the bottom on the final day. And we will have one of those games live for you, TBC at the moment. It's the nature of this season, it's been brilliant.
I've heard you've got a private helicopter waiting to drop you off, Robin, based on where that location's going to be across London.
That's right, I forgot to say, yes, if anyone's got a helicopter.
Would only need to be a small to medium-sized one, wouldn't it?
I think medium is being generous. But the trophy will be in London somewhere. There's Arsenal will be at West Ham, Chelsea at home. It's going to be one of those two.
The FA Cup final the weekend after. Hope the sun will be out for that.
Yeah, let's hope so. Still waiting for that. Zadorsky finds Neville. Brilliant first-time ball for Neville. An underappreciated skill, Kim Little. We know what she's about on the ball, but really good at winning it back as well.
She knows what's expected of a midfielder, and she just exemplifies that role.
Well, the flag has stayed down. Now it's up. Blackstenius. I think it was the right decision.
Just looked like she started a run slightly ahead of the defender. My inkling was she was offside. Pretty tight, but yeah, right call from the assistant.
flats the last few minutes.
Certainly started off frantic or controlled aggression from Arsenal, playing really high up, bodies joining in. And Spurs have got back into it, roughing things up in the midfield. A few little one-touch passages.
Back, Kim Little, Naz. Arsenal wanted the foul. The referee waves play on. Naz, though, running into a bit of a cul-de-sac, needs support. Finds Rachel Williams. Now Harrop. Clemeron. No pressure on her, assessing her options. Clemeron turning into trouble. Velty and Arsenal have space here, and a lot of it. It's Ford, straight at the goalkeeper.
Should have done better there, Caitlin Ford. You could see it was 4-on-2 and Arsenal broke with such ferocity. Thought goal was imminent.
Certainly should have been 2. Whole of the goal to aim for. Copley did well to push it aside as well.
Yeah, it's good positioning from Copley. She was off the line, made the goal look a little bit smaller. Less for Caitlin Ford to shoot at, but hard and low. Pick your corner. There's plenty of pace on it, but straight at Copley. Let off for Spurs, who gambled a little bit. Kerry Harrop was forward, Ashton Neville was forward, both wing backs.
Interesting, the rotation. We've discussed that before, haven't we? Becky Spencer, she played against Everton. And you feel it is because of the styles of each one.
Both Becky Spencer and Corpler are experienced goalkeepers. I think Corpler just has the edge over that as far as her calmness in the delivery of her information. And when you're playing against an exceptional forward attacking team like Arsenal are, or Chelsea, where Corpler has been the preferred goalkeeper, then you need that information, the clarity of that information to be absolutely precise. Because as a goalkeeper, the more you can prevent from happening in front of you with your information, you know, the fewer saves you have to make, obviously the more effective you are as a defensive unit.
The final 2 minutes of normal time. Arsenal with the lead, but a narrow one.
Jan Skinner, I think, will be pleased with the reaction of the players. First 5-10 minutes for Arsenal looked dangerous for Spurs, and they regrouped. Kai Simon's gone a little bit higher up to put pressure on the centre halves, stop that supply chain.
Maritz.
Josie Green certainly grown into this game. She's not played for a while, and playing that holding midfield when you're playing against likes of Leah Valti and trying to thwart Miedemar in her run, she's really got better.
Great pass from Ruben Moy while she was on the deck. Miedemar just overran that, under pressure as well. Corpler deciding to clear with her feet. She could have picked that up.
No, it was a pass back from Clemeron. As she'd run through, she'd set it back.
Well spotted. Oh, Mead's header just behind Miedemar. 1 minute of time added on. Arsenal trying to add a second in stoppage time. Corner kick.
Clever defending there from Bartrip. I was looking as before the ball was played in. Bartrip was holding Blackstenius' shirt there, stopping her, getting across her because she was looking to go into that near post. Beth Mead, another one of those one of the run that opened the account was textbook Arsenal, what they've done all season. Let's see if they can, from set pieces, which they've had plenty of, extend their advantage.
Will be the final chance of the half. It's Catley. Goalkeeper's come. Spurs head on it first. It's not quite cleared. Velty back to Little. Here's Miedemar trying to work the space. And Arsenal have taken too long to fashion opportunity there. And it is the Gunners who lead at the break thanks to a very early goal from Beth Mead. They failed to extend their advantage. They've had a couple of scares as well. But as it stands, they go 1 point behind Chelsea. If it stays like this, we will go to the final day of the season to see who gets the WSL title. Half-time at the Emirates. Arsenal 1, Tottenham 0.
Robin Cowan and Rachel Brown-Finnis, thank you very much. Yeah, the players are heading down into the tunnel. Bigger surroundings here than Boreham Wood. Arsenal had a job to do here. They need to get the victory. So far, so good at half-time, Farah.
Yeah, look, they started the game really well and got an early goal. They put pressure on this Spurs team, but I think the Spurs have actually grown into the game. It took a while. You thought Arsenal could have gone on to score a couple more after they got the early goal, but Spurs have kept themselves in the game and they've started to kick on towards the end of this first half.
It's never easy when you go a goal down so early in a game. It's about then sticking together as a team and understanding that there's going to be an onslaught because Arsenal's backs will be up. They'll be thinking we can smell blood here. We can get more goals. But they've stuck together. It's been really good. I think they're just the decision making when they go forward. You can see the difference in styles when the two teams attack.
And that is it, isn't it? Because Spurs are a team that are just growing. Arsenal a team in transition as well. But the difference in quality, because, you know, Arsenal are stalwarts here in the top tier and Spurs are getting there.
Yeah, well, I think Arsenal have asserted their dominance very early on in the game. They're almost playing in Tottenham's half, but, you know, Spurs will be happy. They're going in at half-time 1-0 down with an opportunity to turn it around in the second half and try to elevate their game. You know, they've started a bit slow, but I think once they pick up that energy, they can instill their presence a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, they had to deal with an early setback, and that was the goal from Beth Mead. I mean, what a star she has been this season, and this goal really epitomises that, doesn't it, Farah?
She's been fantastic. I mean, the pass from Leah Williams, it just wraps it into Beth Mead, who sits between the lines. But what Beth does so well is she drives at this Tottenham back line, and they just back off. You see here, the pass from Leah was brilliant, but the take from Beth Mead, and she drives at the Tottenham back line here. Tottenham defenders need to do more. They need to put a little bit of pressure on Beth Mead. But what a finish. She takes it in onto her left foot, sweeps it past the Tottenham defender, and then just strikes it nice and hard and low and beats the keeper with her left foot. A fantastic finish from Beth.
It really is. 11 WSL goals for her now. But for Spurs, it looked like they had a chance to reply pretty soon because there was a bit of a goal-mouth scramble here. It didn't go their way, but Rhiann Skinner looked like she was celebrating, didn't she?
Yeah,
at one point.
It's from a set-piece situation, corner in the box, and everyone's scrambling for first contacts, but you have to commend Miedemar here because she's on the line and she makes a fantastic block off the line to stop Spurs, you know, capitalising. And it's important for Spurs to to utilise these moments because these opportunities to score.
And Caitlin Ford did have a chance to score before the break as well, but for this brilliant save from Korpela.
Yeah, look, Caitlin's been dangerous down this left-hand side for Arsenal in this game. She's been fantastic. We'll see the chances here for her. She just comes in off the left-hand side and she's right-footed and just hits one with her right. Look, the keeper's had to see through some bodies here, so it's a fantastic save. But equally as impressive strike from Ford, and here's the other chance she gets. I feel like as she's driving towards the defender here, I feel like she should have played Miedemar in on the outside rather than take the shot. But look, she's a striker, she's got that striker mentality and wants to score herself. It's a fantastic strike and an easy save for the goalkeeper.
Yeah. Okay, well, the one we talked about pre-match, Stephen, was Leah Williamson. Such a huge influence on this Arsenal team. She's been everywhere today, hasn't she?
Yeah, it's been really impressive. I mean, early on in the game. This is what I really like, though, and this is the difference between the teams. When she drives out, just look at the bodies that come towards her. They know they've got to react to it. Then she slips in the passes. Great ball again, splitting the lines, making sure that she can find players in space. And this has caused Tottenham real problems throughout the game because when she picks her head up, we saw it in the goal. They've got to go tight, the defenders to strikers, got to go in on Beth Mead, make sure that they're tight to her, because as soon as she picks her head up, she wants to hit that pass through. You've got to be brave as defenders. I think they did that a little bit more towards the end of the game, but she's got so much quality when she picks the ball up, and they've got to find a way of pushing her inside onto her left foot. Don't allow her to come onto her right foot and start them attacks again.
And Spurs can afford to be a bit braver on the front foot as well in terms of attacking as well, Farah.
Yeah, I think so, and I think we started to see that in the second half. As I mentioned earlier, they've grown into this game, but look, Tottenham have had a lot of games of late. They've had to play catch-up games. They had a lot of COVID cases earlier on, so they're playing a lot. They've had a lot of games against top opposition, back-to-back games against Chelsea. Now they're playing Arsenal, so it's difficult. I think the second half will be important, that they stay in the game again for longer, and then maybe last 20 minutes really push on and try and get something out of the game.
Okay, well, it is so tight at the top. A victory today and Arsenal will take this title chase to the final day of the season, which is, of course, on Sunday. And you can join us on BBC Sport for the conclusion of this WSL season, which has been exhilarating, hasn't it? Brilliant crowd here, by the way, at the Emirates. 12,500 people here in a sort of, 60,000 arena capacity. A big pitch as well, but everyone seems to be having a very good time indeed. It really does have that big game feel, and it should do, shouldn't it, being a North London derby. Well, as we head to the end of the season for the men's and the women's, of course, the standard of refereeing and all the decisions that have been made does come under the spotlight. As for the women's game, Bibi Steinhaus-Muir is a 7-time women's referee of the year, a huge figure in the game, and she has plenty to say about how the women's game can be improved. And earlier in the week, she caught up with Kelly Summers.
If you are what you say you are, a superstar.
Tell us then what your role entails on a day-to-day basis.
I'm working with the officials in the women's game, in the Women's Super League, in the Women's Championship, to be more focused, to be more detailed, to have more support around them, a different network of support around them. All of this is very, very crucial for development of a referee.
Do you understand some of the criticism that has been directed at some of the decisions and some of the referees in the WSL this year?
Within the Women's Super League and within the Women's Championship, we have 264 fixtures throughout a whole season. We're talking 300 decisions. So we are actually talking 79,000-ish decisions throughout a whole season. 79,000 crucial decisions which have key match influence on an outcome potentially on the game as well. The teams prepare in the best way possible to aim for the title. The referees do everything they have in their capacity to not get involved in this win about the title.
For those that don't know, you're part of a refereeing power couple, aren't you? Married to former Premier League referee Howard Webb. Do you kind of share stories and expertise in your household?
Of course, yeah. We're talking offside on Sunday morning breakfast.
VAR, it's a hot topic at the moment, isn't it? Will we see it in the WSL, do you think?
Technical support helps the game to grow. So I'm absolutely happy and willing to look together with the competition department at the growth of the game and what can be and how we can involve it into the women's game to get the best out of it for everybody. So we are in close contact already and discussing behind the scenes like what could be possible, definitely, yeah.
It will be a really historic moment for the PGML and the country this summer. Yeah. 4 officials involved in a women's international tournament for the very first time. How proud are you of that?
Massively. We all are. Like the whole group of female officials, of women's select group officials is so proud of having like 4 representatives at the tournament. It just shows that with a lot of work, dedication, preparation, you can reach your goals.
Bibi Steinhaus-Muir with Kelly Summers there, and some really interesting points that came up. One of them is to do with VAR. I mean, it's taken generations, really, in the men's professional game to introduce VAR. We're taking baby steps here in the women's game. Would it be a step too far? I mean, she's advocating that it would possibly help the women's game. What do you think about that, Anita?
Well, I'm personally a fan of, human error, but I think in this instance, that refereeing in the women's game isn't fully professional yet, and that's where the support really should be directed to get them as much exposure and practice at this level to make, better decisions rather than taking decisions out of their hands.
I think the big thing is the amount of money it costs to put into that, inject it into the game, put it back into the referee and make it professional, as you say, give them more opportunities. There is other arguments where you bring male professional referees in to work with the women as well to improve the standard. But you look at the Scottish game in the Men's Premier League, it's taken till this season to put it in, but it's come at a huge cost, and they weren't really in massive favour of it because the cost of it, it's huge. Now, if you're going to play at stadiums like this week in, week out, it's already here, but you don't get that in the women's game yet. They're not always playing at the main stadiums.
And this is it, because it's not everyone's cup of tea, is it? VAR has been introduced, and it's been like Marmite, Farah. So I suppose to bring it into the women's game so soon could rub some people up the wrong way.
Yeah, look, there's an argument to and for, but I'm against it. Like, I think, I hate watching the men's game and the delays and how long it takes to make a decision. I actually quite enjoy referees making human error like we do as players and pundits. And I quite enjoy that part of the game, and I don't want to take that away from our women's game. And as you said, baby steps first in the women's game.
Okay. Well, Arsenal are taking baby steps towards keeping in this title race here at the Emirates. It is, of course, Arsenal 1 and Tottenham Hotspur 0. There is, of course, another very important game taking place, which has consequences for European qualification and the bottom of the table as well. Manchester City looking to pit Manchester United to that third spot and that elusive Champions League position. Birmingham City, if they lose today, they would be relegated tonight. That game, though, is currently goalless. And I'm going to take you now through the final round of WSL fixtures. They are all on Sunday. All 6 matches are kicking off at midday. Aston Villa host Birmingham in a local derby. Brighton take on Everton. Manchester United travel to champions Chelsea. Reading are up against Manchester City. Spurs will be at home to Leicester City, while Arsenal will be travelling to West Ham. Well, here, though, at the Emirates, we can head a little bit further along pitch side, where Jane Dougal is currently with the former Tottenham defender Jenna Schillaci.
Thanks very much, Reshman. Yes, Jenna alongside me, and I know you've been keeping an eye on the other match, 0-0 at the moment, and Man City and Man United scrapping it out for that third place. But Jenna, that could have been Tottenham.
Yeah, it could have been. I mean, they got off to a fantastic start to this season. They're really hard to beat, nicking points off the top teams, which they've never done before. I think, in the last months or so, they've drifted away from the top 3, but it's still been a really progressive season, and they're still on track to finish in their highest ever spot to date. So, yeah, still a positive season.
Back to tonight's match, how do you rate Tottenham's performance? Such a big stadium as well, and such a huge occasion.
Yeah, I think obviously it didn't start as well as they would have hoped. Frustrating to concede in the manner they did so early on, but I think since that early goal, they've done well to stay in the game. They've created chances, but I think Arsenal have controlled the game. But, the second half now, I think they've struggled on the overload on the left-hand side. Arsenal have really been exploiting that space, but they're still in this game, and, only takes one chance to get back in it.
They've had a couple of cracking chances as well, haven't they? Goalmouth scramble.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those are the moments that they've got to be better and be clinical, because, their moments don't come often.
And also there's been a couple of decent saves as well from Corpella. And speaking of keepers, England and Manchester City keeper Karen Bardsley has announced her retirement. 82 caps for her country. Just how much of a legend is she?
Oh, she's an absolute legend, an absolute advocate for the women's game. I think, 82 caps for England, 20-year career. She's been a fantastic player, role model, and, it's a sad day for women's football to lose a player like that.
All right, Jenna Schillaci, thanks very much for speaking to us. We'll let you get back to working for BBC Radio 5 Live. Back to you, Reshman.
Jane, thank you very much. Yeah, Jenna will be hot-footing it back to the commentary box for Radio 5 Live ahead of the second half here. But just to let you know and mark your card, there is plenty of football coming up on BBC Sport in the next week. Okay, straight after we wrap here at the Emirates, you can stay with us on BBC Two to watch kicking off the rise and fall of the European Super League. That is at 9:30 p.m. You can watch the latest episode of Match of the Day X on BBC Three. That's tomorrow at 10:50 on the BBC iPlayer. You can watch Match of the Day presenters Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer and Michael Richards debate their football top tens. We'll have all the games from the run-in and show you the trophy being lifted on the last day of the season this Sunday in the WSL. All the build-up is from 11:45 on BBC Two. And before we head back to the second half of Arsenal against Tottenham, let's get a recap of the first.
That's high tension at the Emirates as Arsenal look to take the title race to the final day of the season. Here comes Beth Mead. And it's 1-0.
What a block off Miedema.
It's back in by Mead. And the goalkeeper just about grabs it.
Here at the Emirates, still a great atmosphere, and the players are back out on the pitch ahead of this second half. Arsenal in their huddle. Tottenham with plenty to discuss in terms of how they're going to come back into this. Arsenal, of course, do not have the option of losing today. They need a victory, or at least a draw, to take this title race to the final day of the season on Sunday. So before we kick off this second half, let's hand you back to our commentary team, the former England and Everton goalkeeper Rachel Brown-Finnis. But first, Robin Cowan.
Yes, thank you very much, Reshmin. And it looks like Spurs have made a change at the break. Kaya Simon off for the Finland international Evelina Summanen. So be interesting to see how Spurs approach this one. Another very good, cultured midfielder. Simon, well, didn't have a bad first half.
No, I'm wondering whether that is a tactical change, because I felt Kai Simon offered support for Rachel Williams up front, joined in as a two up front. But Summanen has been excellent this season. When I've seen her play, she's really grown into that midfield role. She can play as a defensive midfielder. Maybe it's a little bit of help for Josie Green and Clemeron to compact that midfield, where Arsenal have been causing them problems.
Simon was player on a booking. He may have come into it, but Spurs did need, as you said, a little bit of help in that department. As highlighted at half-time, Leah Williamson with those perfect passes through the lines to shut off those channels a little bit more often, Spurs, because Arsenal could be further ahead, but they're not. And so Spurs will feel like they could get something out of this game still.
You can see those three in midfield are working really closely. So out of possession, it's difficult to play through. In possession, you've got someone to pass to it almost immediately. Finding those little triangles to play out of trouble.
There's Clemeron. Now Neville. A loose ball. Straight to Velti. Now Miedema is allowed to turn. Tries to play in forward. Neville makes up for her error.
With a good recovery run from Ashley Neville. Should be important. Giving information to Jessica Naz, younger player in front of her, helping her with her role.
No one marking Miedema from the throw-in. Didn't quite sit up for the shot. Catley takes it on. Summanen with the touch. It's away from Naz. Arsenal back on the ball.
Critical touch around the corner there from Summanen. The ball had been congested a bit in Arsenal's final third, and been trouble for Spurs.
Williamson with another run forward. Wanted a foul. Didn't get one. It's going to fall for her centre-half partner, Wooburn Moy. Williamson still up the pitch. It's Mead. Finds Ford. It was offside.
Straight, and she didn't hold a line. Yeah, you'll see Leah Williamson, if there's certainly with the tactical change and Rachel Williams being the only one up front for Spurs, it just frees up one of the centre-halves to step out and play. Leave Wubbenmoy, as it was this time, 1v1.
A lot of space for Beth Mead. That was a tight decision once again. Which hasn't gone in Arsenal's favour. Lovely turn from Naz.
I'd argue excellent defensive line to keep playing such good players offside.
Lemeron nearly takes the referee's head off, but does find Keris Harrop. On to Josie Green. And both of them went in, and the referee's going to have to stop play here. Green and Mead, full-blooded. Both looking a bit of pain.
Well, Beth Mead, given the form she is in, and with the Euros around the corner, everybody who supports the Lionesses will be desperately hoping she's okay. It was a lunging, studs-up challenge from Josie Green, deemed to be in control and not endangering a player, otherwise we would have seen sanctions.
Yeah, referee didn't even blow for a foul. Did play to go on.
So it's a heavy touch, isn't it, from Josie Green? She goes chasing it, and yeah, I don't think there is a foul in there. She lunges for the ball, but she's in control. She gets the ball. It's just fully committed tackle from both players. And I'd encourage that, because that is football. It was a well-natured tackle from both players. Both players we see getting up now. And football is a contact sport, remember. She goes in. Yeah, it's not studs up until the ball's played. It's Beth Mead, if anything, times the tackle really poorly. But the good thing is both players are back on their feet and intend on continuing. I suppose when she saw her teammates a few days ago see the Euros possibly head into the distance, Jordan Nobbs pick up an injury at the weekend, you have those little moments.
I think every manager of a team that's taking part in the Euros, every fan of a team that's taking part in the Euros this summer is holding their breath whenever they see one of their squad members potentially down with an injury. But that's the life of Beth Mead, isn't it? She gets clattered basically every game.
And you know what, I've been in this situation tail end of a season, and you've got a Euros or a World Cup around the corner. You are not thinking about the Euros at all. You are fully focused on today's match, preparing for that, giving everything to that. You know, and that's why she didn't hesitate in going in for a tackle like that.
Mead. And Harrop tried to pull her back, but didn't succeed. Still going Beth Mead. Ran into a couple of defenders there. Naz can bring it away. Suominen on to Naz. Again, Arsenal just surrounding her. It was a good run. Just ran into too many red shirts.
See, when Naz has picked up the ball, then Suominen and Clemeron have done an excellent job in congesting Beth Mead's space and turned the ball over. But when Naz got hold of the ball just as she needed to, all the space was on the wide position, in the wide areas. See her intention, she backed herself to beat the Arsenal defenders.
Catley in a bit of space. And to Caitlin Ford. Good run by Ford. Catley with the cross. Inches away from the head of Beth Mead. Here's Williamson. Now Little tries to slip it through for Miedemar. She'll have to settle for a corner.
That was really good defending from Keris Harrop there. You saw when Miedemar burst through. She looked sure on fire to get inside and have a shot at goal. Keris Harrop just got between her and the ball, and ushered her wide. Really clever defending. Good defending initially from Spurs. And look at this. Lee Williamson threads the ball through, back to Kim Little, and all that space. Lovely little through ball. And Kerry Harrop shields it well. Zadorsky does the rest.
In the other WSL game, Manchester City now have a 2-goal lead against Birmingham, who are heading for the drop. Here comes the corner. Again, well defended. Bartrip there. Miedemar with the shot. Spurs back. Defending well. Velty with the shot, but the referee had already blown for a foul.
Correct decision there. Just clip the back of Rachel Williams' heels. Again, Spurs defended that set piece excellently well. Always first head to the ball is a Spurs head. Defending corners.
Your view on the title race, Rachel? It's Chelsea's to lose.
Oh, it's a blue. For me, it's Chelsea of, yes, they started the season when Arsenal got the better of them, but they've reigned supreme this year.
Here's Miedemar. Lovely dummy. And another shot straight at Korpela, who did well to keep it out. Shout for handball of Catley, but referee has indicated she's happy for play to continue. Arsenal upping the pressure, pinning Spurs back, barely gone out of their half. That's a bit sloppy from Mead, giving it to Williams, but she's back. Mead to win it back. Arsenal not allowing Spurs to keep the ball at the moment, even for a second.
Yeah, and that's two-part. Arsenal are doing very, very well at their defensive duties, out possession, hustling, winning the ball back, pressing Spurs into mistakes, but Spurs have got to do a little bit better in possession. Keep it tidy and simple.
Zadorsky, Canadian international. Down the line for Ayan. That's a good run, good movement. A couple of options in the middle. Straight at Zinsberger. No one caught up with her.
No, and as she hit the byline, the only option you've got is to try and cut it back, and Zinsberger had read that really, really well. Just cut it out at a near post. Couldn't get enough angle on it to be able to cause Arsenal any problems. As you said, it's hard dog work for Rachel Williams to catch up, for Jessica Naz to get in the box. Won't be surprised to see if Rianne Skinner makes the change relatively soon.
Too many options for her on the bench. She's without Kit Graham, still recovering from an ACL injury. I feel that's been a big miss for them.
Yeah, I mean, some of the bangers she scored from outside of the box, she really was a goal threat. Her ability to run through, touches of the ball, she had kind of everything and was getting better and better, and it's a real joy to watch in the WSL, having previously been without Spurs in the WSL and Kit Graham.
Little gets there just ahead of Ayan. Now a bit of space for Maritz. Little. He's riding a couple of challenges, and then Suominen picked up for the handball. A bit of afters there from the Finnish international. The referee not happy with that. She needs to calm down. Clearly not happy with the decision, but slight overreaction. Yellow card for Suominen.
It's certainly been feisty in that midfield. Kaya Siren in the first half was booked, replaced by Suominen for this second half, and there's been no let-up. Great recovery runs. And Suominen just catches on a hand there, and Kim Little's not happy with it. But Suominen shouldn't be lifting her arms up. Got to know better than that. Kim Little's like Peter Pan. I feel like she's been around forever. 2012 in the Olympics, I played alongside her the first time, and that's 10 years ago now, Robin, 2012.
Please
Just
don't say
looks
that.
exactly the same. And plays just, you know, to the same standards. The fitness has never dropped, never wavered. She's phenomenal.
She's played now 51 consecutive games for Arsenal, featured in 51 consecutive games, which is quite some achievement. I think her retirement from international duty in the summer may have helped that. She's kept herself fit and firing. It's Clemeron away from Ford. Cruelly done by Neville. Flags went up against Williams.
I'd agree with the half-time discussion about VAR not being necessary. I think the continual improvement of the officials tonight so far, the referee and the assistant referees have done a really good job. Tight calls when we've watched them back on TV have been proven to be exactly right. Probably going to jinx them by saying that, but there's certainly been a marked improvement in the standard of refereeing over the last few years, and it had to. Professional league, we do want professional officials.
Mead onto Miedemar. No space for the shot. Back out to Beth Mead. Options in the middle. Neville gets first contact. Catley onto Ford. Comes away with the ball. Give little urge to shoot, and then Beth Mead. Just too congested on the edge of the penalty area for Arsenal. No room whatsoever. Good defending from Spurs.
So hard to play through, isn't it, when they compact?
Oh my God.
All 11 players within pretty much, you know, a 20-yard width and a 20-yard depth. All in front of the goal.
Ford. No one closing her down. And inches away from the perfect through ball for Beth Mead.
Sumanan was just getting some instruction from Rhian Skinner on the sideline there. Just have a little look to see whether her role changes, whether she goes up slightly higher, because Spurs will have to gamble towards the final third of this game. They're certainly lacking attacking threat. Rachel Williams a bit isolated up top on her own. Maybe she's told to calm down.
Please don't get booked again. Little, great ball. Onto Ford, who'd made the move, but she can't pick out a red shirt. Keris Harrop, well, she took a chance. She's given it straight back to Arsenal and Ford. Dig towards the back post and kept in by Mead, but no one there on the end of it. Kim Little battling for it with Naz, who brings it away. Sumanen, and now Green. Here is Naz. Now Ayan. Williams to aim for in the box. Helps to find Neville for support. It's a good ball in, well defended by Wubben-Moy. Spurs finally up the pitch. Zadorsky. Neville to Ayan, who controls it beautifully. And Naz, though, scuffs the pass. And now Spurs can find themselves a bit light at the back. Here comes Vivianne Miedemar. On to Mead. Good defending.
Oh, how she would love to answer that crowd. There's a little swell of noise in the ground.
all started so well the first day of the season at the Emirates. A 3-2 win against Chelsea, but could well end the season empty-handed.
It'd be a bitter pill to swallow, that, for Jonas Eidevall, coming in and having the impact that he felt he had on the team, and I'm sure his expectations at that point were to win the league, to potentially win the Champions League, lofty dreams of that, which were duly cut short.
Mead into the penalty area. Again, really good ball across. No one there to put it in.
It was. She jumped up and down after no one got on the end of that. I'm surprised she didn't shoot. She likes an angle like that to shoot from, Beth Mead. But second 6-yard box. Just needed to cut it back a little titchy bit more. The edge of that 6-yard box so players in.
Tottenham at the moment down to 10. Jessica Naz is having to receive a bit of treatment, so off the pitch. And back on now. Mead dispossessed. Sumanen does well to find Naz. Lovely ball to Ayan. Again, Kim Little wins the ball back for her team.
She really has played an exemplary performance. Playing in that 4 role, hustling the ball off of players half her age. Then being first one to bomb on and join in with forward players.
Space here for Noel Maritz. Spurs in a good shape.
They're so well drilled. You see Rachel Williams out of position, filling in for a player. Ryan, she stays up top. Well drilled is exactly that.
Naz trying to play it through towards Ayan, who has taken up the centre-forward role. Here's Ford. Naz struggling to get back now. Ford still going. Finds Miedemar. Trying to make room for the shot or the cross. Again, there is none. Clemeron stays strong. Gets the ball clear.
Brilliant composure from Clemeron there. One of the world's best players, Miedemar, trying to win it back, and you're only 8 yards from your own goal. Shields the ball exceptionally well. Buys herself a little bit of time to feed and find possession for her team.
Katie McCabe getting ready for Arsenal. A wayward pass from Neville, picked up by Catley. Now here's Ford. Beautifully done by Leah Williamson. Mead. Taken up by Miedemar.
Expected her to go close to that with that one, Miedemar. Lovely ball from Leah Williamson. Well held up by Beth Mead, but just swung and scuffed it with the outside of her left foot, plays it over. Blackstenius has had a reasonable evening, caught offside a couple of times, but has led that line very, very well for Arsenal.
McCabe on for Stina Blackstenius. She will take one of the forward positions. Wiedemark stays as the furthermost midfielder. And Caitlin Ford as the centre forward. Jordan Nobbs confirmed she will miss the final 2 games of the season. Will she miss the Euros? We still have to wait and see. Change for Tottenham. Izzy Lane coming on, 18-year-old. Just her second substitute appearance in the WSL this season. And Jess Naz coming off. She looked like she was tiring a little bit.
Yeah, Jessica Naz certainly had some exciting spells during certainly the first half, but did look a little bit tired. Decision making was a little bit foggy.
Williams onto Suominen. Getting Spurs up the pitch really well. Suominen cross straight off Kim Little. Diane picks it up. Here's Clemeron. Lovely drop of the shoulder. That's a good ball as well. Difficult header for Green to generate all the power. And she's down as well.
Not quite sure what happened there. See on the replay, hopefully. Decent ball in from Clemeron. She goes up for the header. I think just twists awkwardly. Don't think there's really much contact from her own teammate, Rachel Williams. A clock on the head, maybe.
That's the first thing Zinsberg's had to do in the second half. Mead. Trying to pick out Wiedemark. Neville steps in, but loses it and is down. Arsenal play on. Wiedemark, really good defending.
Brilliant from Zadorsky there. Steps across and negates the opportunity there was for Arsenal. The crowd have risen to it.
Here's Wiedemark. Gets the cross in, and it's turned in! Ford doubles Arsenal's lead, and surely makes the point safe to send the title race to the final day.
Really clever play from Spurs. So we're still talking over the chance that Arsenal had. They'd taken a short corner, said that they needed to be more inventive with the corners, with the set pieces. They were this time. And the result was a fizzing ball to the back post and a really smart finish from Caitlin Ford. See here, it's quick thinking of Wiedemark, just side foots it to Beth Mead, who sees the opportunity to turn. And she lays it back to Wiedemark, that beautiful area. Corpler gets a little foot on it, but can't quite deflect it wide enough to steer it clear beyond that far post run of Caitlin Ford. It's a really tight angle. Kerry's Harrop just switches off, loses a player at the back post. But a thunderous ball across, and arguably what Arsenal have deserved.
So Caitlin Ford has her third WSL goal of the season. 2-0 to Arsenal, and Spurs have made another change. Rachel Williams off, and Cho So-Young on, and Katie McCabe in amongst it.
Yeah,
Proper derby now.
Yeah, Josie Green got booked, and Katie McCabe took exception to that. Gave her a bit of a shove, and Clemeron just came up to back up her teammates, say, oh, no need for that, and show them that they are united. The Spurs squad have got a real strong team bond. And you're right, if it wasn't already fiery, Josie Green probably expected or could have had that yellow earlier on. We'll just see if there's any repercussions of that for Clemeron.
Still remonstrating with the referee. McCabe, who's only just come on as a sub. Straight into the action. We know she's a fiery individual. So a yellow card for Clemeron and a yellow card for McCabe. And still words being exchanged.
I don't think either player are happy with the outcome of that. See here, it's a Josie Green goes over the ball and catches Valti. There's Josie Green saying, I got the ball. You can see it's Katie McCabe who boots the ball at Josie Green. Josie Green gets the yellow for the rash tackle. And then it's pushing and shoving. No need to really get involved, Clemeron. But, you know, these games mean a heck of a lot to these players. If you haven't watched women's football before, then you can expect exactly the same in a women's game as a men's game as far as heart and fire. If not more, arguably.
They need to keep their heads. I think Josie Green's challenge there was
orange.
A bit naughty, yeah. They'll only get one look at it, the referees, no VAR.
I think that was the right decision, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think it was out of control. It was bordering on endangering the player. I'm happy with the yellow.
That's what's important. Here's Williamson. Ford. Bethmead can't take possession.
Katie McCabe at times this season has been absolutely magical for Arsenal. Down that left-hand side attacking wise. I'm just looking at the tackle again. The ball has gone, hasn't it?
See McCabe then hitting the ball at Josie Green and Clemeron not liking that. And Corpola gathers. Here is Neville. That's a great ball over the top for Suminen, who I think was onside, but Zinsberger out quickly to clear the danger.
Excellent read from Zinsberger there on the front foot.
Leanne's pass picked up by Green, takes a swing, well wide. Difficult chance that.
I think if Rianne Skinner did have options, she would look at bringing off Josie Green, because she looks like she's tiring now, a little bit off the pace. I think that tackle was more tiredness and a yard or so behind play. She looks down there, Angela Addison's looking stripped, ready to come on. Just wait and see who that's for.
No traditional centre forward on for Tottenham. I'm sure want to keep their defensive record intact. It's going to their final game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this Sunday against Leicester, who will be safe now. Birmingham heavy defeat to Manchester City this evening. And we will follow the final round of the Women's Super League, BBC 2 at 11:45. We will be at West Ham against Arsenal on BBC 2, and you can listen to Chelsea against Manchester United on BBC Radio 5 live on Sunday from midday.
It's been enthralling season with the start that it had here at the Emirates. Arsenal upsetting Chelsea to win that opening encounter. People felt that Arsenal then really had the final piece of the puzzle, bringing in the new manager, a couple of new players to go on and win it. Manchester City starting so drably.
Here is McCabe. Miedemar turning Neville. Down under the challenge, Catley. Claims for handball, especially from Jonas Eidevall. Play goes on. McCabe into Little. Williamson's ball going to be retrieved by Catley. McCabe's pass cut out by Clemeron. Josie Green scurrying away from Mead. Good play from Spurs.
Saying how strong Manchester City have finished this season. They've had such, they've been such a key player in these big three teams over the last years, and one of those players who's retiring at the end of the season, Karen Bardsley, 82 caps for England. He's instrumental in driving the game on, both as a goalkeeper, as a professional. He really lifted the level of goalkeeping at international standard, as a really fantastic role model for all young girls across the country. So well done to her on a wonderful career.
There's quite a few retirements and people leaving the league. The emotional Sunday for a lot of clubs. Our very own Anita Asante as well. I'm sure we'll get a nice reception from Birmingham, even though she will be on the other side for Aston Villa. That second City derby. Angela Addison. Couldn't quite get there.
The next level that Rian's going to be looking to build on, Spurs looking ahead to next season, is safe. They've so much better with regards to performances this season, regards to points accumulation, goals conceded have been far superior to last season. The depth of squad, what options have they got off the bench? Yes, young players are great, but the squad does need strengthening to push on.
Frida Marlem getting ready to come on for Arsenal. A strong base for Tottenham to build on, but lots of other clubs will be hoping to be the one next season that could make the step up. Brighton started so well, they've tapered off quite dramatically towards the end of the season. Just have Leicester, I'm sure, will invest into staying up. Arsenal will want more goals tonight heading into the final weekend. Beth Mead onto Ford, goes for the corner. Oh, that is brilliant. Caitlin Ford. A fantastic strike from the Australian. A goal befitting of the stage in which this game is being played. 3-0 to Arsenal.
Wow, what a way to top off a dominant evening for Arsenal. Spurs have done so much, but they allowed her to drift off the back shoulder. Ashley Neville got dragged in towards Beth Mead, and she had enough time and an absolute quality to pick that spot. Nothing that Corpler could do in the Spurs goal. Beth Mead does really well to sort her feet out and play that ball across. What about that for a finish? Here at the Emirates in front of a pretty substantial crowd. To get the third goal for your club in a title race, I'm sure that feels pretty special for Caitlin Ford.
You call that a strike? This is a strike.
I think even Katie McCabe and the pearlers she's put in this season will have applauded that.
And as he did in the sun on the opening day of the season, Jonas Eidevall with a joyous celebration. So they will head to Dagenham on Sunday, hoping that Manchester United can take points off Chelsea. It's going to be a big ask.
Yeah, I don't think United have beaten any of those top three: Arsenal, City, Chelsea. So it would be a monumental task for Mark Skinner's side.
Ford taken off, quite the mic drop moment, curling one in and then off onto the substitutes bench. Frida Mardam on for the final 7 minutes or so. He tripped.
Been a solid performance. Arsenal have not looked flustered at any point, even after they opened their account after 10 minutes, and since then have been rattled a little bit in midfield, a few little tackles and encounters like we're seeing now. Ashley Neville and midfield set up from Spurs. They've done their job, they've roughed up Arsenal, they've not let them have comfortable possession of the ball. It does look like they're fading a little bit, their efforts in vain somewhat. But Arsenal have taken their time, the substitutes have been impactful.
Here is Williamson. Oh, Lotte Wubben-Moy nearly selling Zinsberger short. Little brings the ball away.
She's been everywhere tonight, Kim Little.
All over the top for Miedema. It's Marnham, deflected. It's going to be caught by Korpela. So 5 minutes remaining. It's time for our Barclays Women's Player of the Match, Rachel Brown-Finnis.
Well, I've gone for Kim Little. I think she's covered every blade of grass in that midfield. She's been the first to join in with attacks. She's been the first line of defence for Arsenal when they've needed it. She's allowed them to build from the back, and everything she's done has been with finesse and class. Been a wonderful captain on the night, as she has been for many years. Plaudits often go to goal scorers, but not tonight.
Here is Sumanen in behind. So she ran that out of play. Either way, didn't come to anything, and Arsenal can bring it away. So it will be a 7th game without a win in the WSL Spurs. And they will fancy their chances at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against Leicester on Sunday. Be fitting for them to finish with a win. A triple substitution incoming for Arsenal. And Noel Maritz coming off for Laura Wienreuter. Straight swap, right back for right back. Leah Williamson coming off. Good reception from the Emirates crowd. For Leah Williamson, England captain for this summer's Euros, and a tap of the badge for the Emirates crowd. Arsenal supporter through and through. Jen Beattie coming on. And Mead, who got the goal scoring started off for Nikita Paris, who finally got that 50th WSL goal last time out.
She's living the dream, isn't she? Leah Williamson, at the Emirates, an Arsenal fan growing up, Arsenal ball girl, all through the academy, putting in an exceptional performance, interacting with the crowd. Now as you see young girls all around this stadium, like all of the girls, excellent representatives of the women's game. But Leah Williamson being given that armband after a wonderful tenure from Steph Horton comes to an end under the new manager, Serena Wiegman. I think everybody associated with the Lionesses have high hopes for that team this summer.
Dad was a Spurs fan, Leah Williamson. Mum was an Arsenal fan, and she did the correct thing to do, listen to Mum. So 2 minutes of normal time to go. And even though it's 3-0, Arsenal have had to work for this. They've had to wait for Spurs to tire, to break them down.
Yeah, and you see that the difference in changes, talking about Spurs, will need to get more players to improve their squad depth, the quality of that squad depth. It's brilliant experience for young players to come on and play at the Emirates at such young ages, and ultimately doesn't affect their league position particularly. They're learning from such well-honed professionals.
Here's Paris. Trying to pick out Miedemar at the far post, but cut out by the goalkeeper. His lane to Sumanen. Certainly made an impact since coming on. Composed in possession and fiery as well.
Fiery Finn.
Yeah, looking forward to watching them at the Euros. Very talented bunch of players.
Perennial, you know, the teams always seems to be at the Euros. For a relatively small nation, they have a high percentage of players who, female footballers, similar to Iceland. You know, again, sport is not traditionally a men's sport, it's a 50-50. Everyone can play football. So the pool of players is much, much bigger than you would expect from a smaller nation.
7 minutes of time added on.
How good's your Finnish or Icelandic ahead of this summer?
It's a little bit rusty.
Is it?
Got to be honest. Brushing up on that.
Portuguese, need that now?
Yep, throwing the Russian book out.
Yeah, thank you.
Portugal back in. Duolingo is getting a hammering. Other language learning things are available. Here is Vivianne Miedemar on the turn. A good save by the goalkeeper.
It's a wonderful thing, isn't it, about switching on any WSL game now, and they're full of internationals who you'll be able to see on the TV this summer. Be able to see live in so many venues as well across England.
All across the BBC, of course, 5 Live and BBC Television online. We've got you covered. Really exciting summer ahead. But before that, to have the final day of the Women's Super League season. If it does come to pass, Chelsea worthy winners in the end.
I would agree with that. Yeah, worthy winners. I think when they went head-to-head in the semi-final, you could see the subtle differences between the two. Chelsea had been there before. They'd been in a high-pressure situation. They went in at half-time. I think it was 0-0, and there was not a lot between them, but Chelsea came out in a different gear in that second half.
It's Miedemar against Bartrip, who's matched her well. McCabe, big touch, and the referee has waved play on. Collision in the 6-yard box.
Chelsea.
Tackle still flying in.
Sorry, going back to title contenders, Chelsea found ways to grind out wins as well. something that 5 years ago, under Emma Hayes, she recognised was a weakness, arguably, or the weakest point of their game was having that mentality and belief that they were winners. Just seeing the replay of that again, there's nothing in that, it's just coming together. There's no foul on any part. Ref did the right thing, play to go on.
Clemeron closed down. Here is Wienreuter. January signing from Hoffenheim. Paris. Trying to skip away. Lane puts it out for a corner.
The Arsenal Women's Supporters Club player of the match, number 9, Beth Mead.
Good crowd, and they've seen some excellent football. A couple of really good goals.
Exciting that we're going to have a regular North London derby, because that hasn't always been the case. Both for the players on the pitch to get up for, as well as the respective sets of fans.
Catley's corner. Harris's header just wide. The only thing missing for Spurs, anyway, is a win. 10 meetings now, and just the one draw in the Women's Super League.
Well, Arsenal have been the leading light women's football for the past part of 30 years, starting off under Vic Akers, and the raft of trophies that they've won, albeit they've not won a title for, I think it's 8 years now, because of teams catching up on them, Chelsea, Manchester City. And with Spurs only in their 3rd year of fully professional football, in there lies the difference.
Here is Little to Jen Beattie. Seen her playing time drastically restricted this season. She's been injured, but Williamson, Wubben-Moy provided a solid partnership.
Great to see Jen Beattie back fit and healthy again after a scare with breast cancer. She went through that during lockdown and possibly couldn't have played anyway because of the season being cut short, but you know, a real reminder of how anyone can be touched by that.
Here is Sumanen. Into Addison. There's a chance for Spurs. Addison goes down, and it's a penalty. Penalty given away by Wubben-Moy.
Smart play from Angela Addison. Wubben-Moy was leading into her. Going to see the replay soon. If she has her arms, if she's got anything on her shirt, Angela Addison expected to outpace Wubben-Moy. Oh, and she does, she catches the back of her heels, absolutely. Angela Addison does the hard work, gets in front of her, gets across her. Wubben-Moy clips her heels. And it's Angela Addison, a substitute, stepping up to take the penalty.
6 goals in all competitions this season, just 1 in the WSL for 22-year-old Angela Addison, who has the chance to net at the Emirates.
Painstaking task of ensuring everybody's aware they should be outside the box.
She's had to wait a little while. It's Addison. Oh, and she's hit the post. Sent the keeper the wrong way, but couldn't find the target. And the Arsenal fans' night just gets better and better.
That would have been just rewards to Spurs. They've worked so hard, they've battled so hard defensively, had few chances in the final third offensively, That little burst of energy from Andrew Addison to get across Wubben-Moy to earn the penalty, and she just gets too much angle on it, almost chops down on it. You see it pop up a little bit and skew wide.
Job done for now for Arsenal. 3-0. Thanks to strikes from Beth Mead and a brace from Caitlin Ford. They had to win today to have any chance of taking the title at the weekend, and they have done just that. A confident performance as the team head into the final day. The WSL title will go down to the final day once again. Full time at the Emirates. Arsenal 3, Tottenham Hotspur 0.
Rachel Brown-Finnis and Robin Cowan, thank you very much indeed. Yes, it is a great result here at the Emirates. Sweet Caroline, good times never felt so good, ringing out here across North London. Only for the red side of North London though, and it was such an important victory. You can see the players here. Big victory for Arsenal, of course. Farrah Williams. I mean, look, you can see all the players congratulating each other, but Jonas Edeval going into this one, the pressure was all on Arsenal. They responded really well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Look, North London derbies can be difficult, and I think they showed a professional performance today. They put the pressure on Chelsea going into the last game of the season, and that's what the neutral fans wanted. Look, it's going to be down to the last game of the season. It's going to be between Chelsea and Arsenal who wins the trophy. I'm not going to say who my money's on.
No.
I'm going to sit on the fence.
Farrah, my goodness. Stephen Warnock, are you going to say who your money's on?
I'm going to edge towards Arsenal. I just think the game between Chelsea and Manchester United's got a lot riding on it. I think Manchester United are going to be a little bit too much. I think they'll get a draw possibly out of the game. I think that pressure on Chelsea will just be too much, and I was really impressed with Arsenal tonight and what they did.
Well, this is the thing. They needed such a strong mentality, Anita Asante, going into this one, because the pressure has been on. They have been ahead for large parts of this season. They were suddenly taken over by Chelsea. It's been a really difficult one for them to stomach, because they thought that this was it. There's a rebuild. Jonas Edeval came in, lots of new players. And you would have thought that Arsenal may have not really given up that lead so soon, but they did, and they've had to respond, haven't they?
Yeah, but now it's a test of character and belief in this side, you know, to believe that they are a championship winning side. They have to reflect that in their performances, and they have, you know, they've bounced back many times in the season to try and put some more pressure on Chelsea, and today was an emphatic win where they really did dominate the game throughout.
Yeah, and as you can see, the table is up there, and those are the numbers that count. Chelsea may be top. Arsenal are just a point behind them, but what's crucial here, Farrah, is the goal difference, and Arsenal have been able to claw that back.
Yeah, I mean, got one game remaining. The goal difference isn't going to really make a difference come the weekend. Look, Chelsea are in the driving seat. They're playing at home against Manchester United. Yes, Man United have, you know, got it playing with a bit of form at the moment, but I don't see Chelsea losing at home. I think that team have, you know, gathered a winning mentality over the years, and Emma's built a really strong team there. And I can't see Manchester United going to Chelsea and winning. So I think, look, it's in Chelsea's hand, but Arsenal have certainly put the pressure on going into the last game of the season.
Yeah, it's interesting because you mentioned that winning mentality of Chelsea, and Arsenal are in the process of rebuilding that winning mentality, aren't they, Anita? It looks like they're getting that back. They've had that impetus, haven't they, under Jonas this season?
Yeah, what I've really liked about this Arsenal side this season is the intensity at which they attack these games, and the way they stretch teams, and their passing and fluidity, and you're seeing a lot of good rotation but clinicalness, you know, and that matters in those moments that are defining in a season. But, you know, like as Farrah mentioned before, I think Chelsea playing at Kings Meadow is a fortress, and it's going to be a very tall order for Chelsea to not win on the weekend.
Okay, look, I can tell you we have the player of the match, Kim Little, an Arsenal legend here with us. You actually just crept up on me behind there. How are you doing? It was an intense game, wasn't it?
It was intense, and it was a little bit similar to the game earlier in the season when we found it really hard and drew 1-1, but I think we've played really well the past two games, and I think we kept that going tonight. Another clean sheet, luckily at the end, but another great 3 goals, and I thought we dominated the match, and it was a great performance from us.
What was the pressure like coming into this? What was the mentality like coming into this? Because you knew that defeat was not an option. A draw would have kept you in it going into the final day, but it was that victory you needed. What was it like in that dressing room before?
Yeah, each of these last matches for us, it's just about getting points on the board. You know, it's in Chelsea's hands, but we've kept the pressure on them, and it's all down to Sunday now.
Yeah, it is. What's it been like under Jonas Eidevall this season? We were just talking about that. Anita was just mentioning that he's really improved the intensity of this side and the quality of the play that we're seeing out on the pitch. Have you felt that?
Yeah, I think when Jonas came in at the start of the season, we increased, like you said, the intensity of our game, and I think you can see by some of our goals and our play on Sunday and then tonight, you know, our counter press and our counter attacks are much quicker, so we've added that to our game. And I think towards the end of this season, we've had a kind of a bad middle of the season, I would say, as a team, and then towards the end we've re-established that possession-based football, and we're really enjoying our game using both those styles, which I think means we've ended the season really strongly. You've been here for a while. We saw you getting that little tribute today for 250 appearances at Arsenal. You've seen a lot of change in the WSL as well as the game turned professional. The landscape changing, other teams coming into it when Arsenal were once dominant. What's it been like, sort of almost not being on the back foot as it were, but just being challenged so much more by the other teams coming through, by the Chelseas, by the Manchester Cities, and trying to get back to that winning mentality and getting Arsenal back in the big time? Yeah, you know, it's important for us. You know, obviously Arsenal have had a lot of success in the past, but you know, that's the past, and we want to move on and create that new success. And I think, like you said, there's so many great teams in the league now. Tottenham being one of them, they've really improved this year, and I think next year it'll be even better league. And yeah, I'm just glad I'm still playing and getting to be a part of it. It's great to see you, Kim. It's always great to see you. And you've got, you know, such a blend of youth and experience in this side as well. And Jonas as well is such a different character. What makes him so special? Yeah, I know, like I said, from the start of the season, he's brought energy. You know, he's passionate. He shows that on the sideline, I think, a lot of the time. A lot of us have a lot of the players have a little laugh afterwards about that. But yeah, it's just. You watch replays and just laugh at him dancing around. Some of his faces are, yeah, a lot. But yeah, it's just that energy, and like you said, we want to win football matches and to be going for the honours, and we're glad to be in the race this last little bit of the season. Yeah, and what is the mentality then going into that final day? Because look, Chelsea are in the driving seat. They're the team that are ahead, so you're depending on their result as well. How do you go into that? I know it's a football cliche, isn't it? You just concentrate on yourselves, but is that literally just as simple as that? It is as simple as that. You know, we need to get 3 points. If we don't get 3 points, it doesn't matter. So yeah, for us it's focusing on that, and it's exciting, isn't it? It's to be a part of that as a player, but I think also to watch for the league to go down to that last day. I think that shows a lot to where our games come. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to Sunday. I know I've hogged you the whole time. I know some of your old mates, they're just trying to butt in and have a little chat. Go on, Anita.
No, Kim, you know, obviously you've been toe-to-toe with Chelsea all season. How do you maintain that belief within the team and keep them charging on, and especially, you know, to be dominant in these games as well? Yeah, I think it's a lot to do with us progressing. Behind the scenes, it's a lot to do with us just progressing as a team. And I think this year, although we've not, you know, won a trophy yet, it's a lot of us is to do with our mentality as a team and getting that in those big matches, making sure we turn up. And I think we've done that more this year, but I think for us to go a step further, we need to do it to another level. And I think behind the scenes, I think we've made an improvement, but next year I think we need to up our game again. I think we still need to make sure we can go another level.
Kim, it's been brilliant to talk to you. Wishing you all the best on that final day. You've kept it exciting for the neutrals. I mean, I have to say, I'm a neutral here, so I'm really looking forward to that final day of the season. But I wish you all the best of luck, and congratulations so far on a brilliant season.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
All the best, Kim.
I'll grab that for you, I think. I'll put it down on our table here. Look, it was a dominant performance from Kim and the likes as well, and they started so brightly, didn't they? But something that you mentioned, Stephen, was at the start. Look, they got off to a great start with Beth Mead, didn't they? After just 4 minutes, but patience was key because Caitlin Ford got a double, and they came quite late on in the game. Yeah, and we spoke at half-time about how Tottenham had stayed in the game, how resolute they had to be, how it would take time to break them down. You had to take your opportunities when they came, and then the goals did come later on in the game. But when you're in a title race, the biggest thing that is often forefront of the players' minds are nerves, I think, and that's where
You've got to be relaxed, you've got to be calm. You don't have to win the game before half-time or within the first 20 minutes. They know they're a good team, Arsenal. They know they'll create opportunities. They've got a great defence at the other end, so they know they'll keep Tottenham out. So, yeah, all about patience.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, well, let's speak to the Arsenal boss now. Jonas Eidevall is standing right behind us. How are you, Jonas?
I'm good.
Good to see you. Big smile on your face. What is your assessment of this one?
Strong performance. I think it's at least one class between the teams today, and I think it's very well deserved, winning with the margin that we do.
And that was key, wasn't it? And, you know, we were talking to Kim just a short while ago about the pressure going into this one, because defeat really wasn't an option, and you did that. How do you manage that mentality amongst the team?
I think it's about staying focused on the task, next opponent, and talk about how do we position ourselves in different phases of the game, what is our objectives, and I think it's very hard to be nervous and task-orientated at the same time, so rather be task-orientated than nervous.
So is there one message to your team and one message to yourself, or is that the overall mentality for you?
Today?
In terms of how you've managed the team up until this point, and particularly in this game as well.
I think that's very important. You live game by game, and you have to live situation by situation. You can't jump ahead, so that's how you're going to look at it, and that's what's going to drive results in the end.
And you haven't given yourself the opportunity to think about that final day, but you can now. What are your thoughts going into that last game then away at West Ham?
Good.
That's what we like to hear, Jonas.
I think it's exciting. I've been at all different ends on situation like that. It's not an easy situation for Chelsea. You're going out and you feel like you have something to lose, and of course we need to win the game, and we're going to attack the game and doing that and making sure that we finish off and that we believe.
This is the thing. I mean, this is your first season here in the WSL. You have been involved in title races before in Sweden. How do you compare?
I have to say it's similar in title races. I've been fortunate. I'm usually involved in title races, so I usually think when things are deciding, it's really important to be one of the teams that everybody else is looking at, and we accomplish that. And let's believe, and if it doesn't work, then we have to be, of course, really gutted about that, but we need to believe on Sunday that anything can happen for us.
Yeah, that is the thing, isn't it? Because by the time you come to Sunday, you will have time to reflect on the season, win or lose. How do you look back on the intensity, the performance of this side, and the fact that you have taken it to the final day of the season?
Yeah, I think it shows that we have improved. We have been fighting on all different parts within Europe and in the league, and if you look at the points that we have been taking, I think it shows development. And I think we've shown now after the FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea that we have another level in us. I think we have been playing really well against Everton, Aston Villa, and now Tottenham. And the key for us now is to maybe see if we can get it up another level and to keep the consistency.
Jonas, since you've got, bred a sort of intensity in this team, both in and out of possession, how do you get the team to still maintain that kind of patience? Not just trying to rush chances and, create opportunities on goal.
Yeah, I think that's the hard part, because I think every manager is looking for the balance where you want to go. The moment for counter-attack is on and you really want to go fully, but if it's not on, you need to have good decision making, and that's what I've been really pleased with in the last 3 games. I think we have looked like a team with really good balance in those decisions, so we just need to keep on doing that. And it starts with clear positionings and clear runs, because then the situations becomes more clear for the players and it's easier to take the decisions at least.
Yeah.
Jonas, you've had a year now at Arsenal, and obviously you can see a progression with the way your styles come into the game. Is it exciting next year to see where you can take this group to?
Yeah,
without getting ahead of yourself, obviously.
Exactly. It's Sunday, but I told them I might as well be transparent with that. After the Chelsea game in the FA Cup semi-final, I think that should be our aim, to impose our style when we are playing against Chelsea, when we're playing against Manchester City, when we're playing against Wolfsburg in the Champions League, and that's our next step, and that's what we need to find out, how we're going to take that step.
Is that one of the biggest things then? Belief in what you're trying to put across to the players, and then believe in what you're trying to put across is the answer?
Yeah, but also I think the preparation. We need to find ways in training to how we prepare. So when we go out and play opponents like that we dare to play, and from there on we can learn, and we're going to progress, and that I'm definite of. But we need to find that, and it has been really developmental for me this first year in England, because it's like we barely have had any training time, and so now I know that next year, so and I can plan a little bit more for it.
You can definitely prepare so much better. And just finally, very quickly, how proud are you of just being able to take it to the final game of the season?
Very, and I mean, especially for the players. And I think you can all see, I think we scored 63 goals so far in the season, but I think the key is we only conceded 10. You can see how much it means for us, and even here with the penalty, you can see how invested we are into that. We don't want to concede goals, and it's just such a great starting point to winning games.
It certainly is. Jonas, congratulations on the victory today, and wishing you all the best. Whatever happens on Sunday, we'll all be there, we'll all be watching. But good luck to you away at West Ham on Sunday. Thank you so much, Jonas.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you. I think I grabbed the mic here, and I'll put it down this way. Here, always interesting to talk to Jonas Eidevall, and it's something that you asked him there, the progression that he's made in this side, the mentality, because he has changed something in this Arsenal side, hasn't he, Farah?
He definitely has. Look, Arsenal, when they used to play in the big games, as he mentioned there, against the Manchester Cities and Chelsea, they always used to find it difficult, and they never used to win those games. Those are the games that they've actually got, results from this season. So they've certainly showed some improvement in that area. I think he mentioned it there. They've got a lot to do with their mentality away from, here and turning up every week. And I think that if they can get that to the next level, then they'll be competing with the likes of Chelsea year on year.
And I think coping with pressure, coping with that, like it's going to the final game. Jonas has been there, he's been in title races. So, he has a calm presence. It's going to translate onto the players as well.
Okay, well, let's update you on the other result in the WSL this midweek. And this is actually a huge one for Manchester City, because they beat Birmingham by 6-0. For Manchester City, that means that they go into third spot ahead of Manchester United going into that final day. But it's a devastating day for Birmingham City, because this result means that they are relegated. They have just 8 points on the board this season, which means that Birmingham City have been relegated this midweek before that final game of the season. And of course, there are 6 final WSL fixtures taking place on Sunday. Villa are hosting Birmingham City at Villa Park. Brighton take on Everton. United travel to Chelsea. Reading with Manchester City, Tottenham at home to Leicester, and we will be at West Ham against Arsenal. Our coverage begins on BBC 2 from 11:45, and commentary of Chelsea's game will be on Radio 5 Live. Okay, thank you, Farah, Anita and Stephen, for joining me here. The pressure was on for Arsenal, wasn't it? They needed that victory to take this title race to the final day of the season, and they did just that, which means it's an exciting day on Sunday for every single WSL fan. Who will be crowned the champions of 2022? Will it be Arsenal? Will it be Chelsea? You'll have to join us then to find out. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
After all, it is a North London derby.
And it's 1-0. Gets the cross in, and it's turned in. Onto Ford, goes for the curl.